Yes, welcome to you two people who are listening to Nurturing Leadership. Welcome back to the episodes and the series of the neuroscience series. We've got 2 episodes left. Last week, I have to apologize. I said we're going to be working on mindfulness and self-awareness this week. I was wrong. We've got one more before that one, and that is next week, and that's the last. Then I'm going to take a month off Nurturing Leadership to really focus on editing and finish off the filming of some of the guests on Leading Our Own Way. I've been filming every single day. Like, it's absolutely insane. I'm in the studio every single day. And if it's not the recording, I'm working on art. I'm working on communicating with people all around the world. I have people now phoning me, wanting to do stuff for me, but obviously they're going to want money in return, which I do not have. But Leading Our Own Way is flying high, and it's not even started yet. Nurturing Leadership is helping me learn all of this stuff and allowing me to talk about what I'm passionate about. I'm learning even more. I'm learning it twice, 3 times, 4 times. But that later on. If you're not already subscribing, please subscribe. If you are listening and as a non-follower, please subscribe and please follow and go to all the social networks. It's not the movie. Social platforms. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. The Nurturing Leadership page on Facebook. Nurturing_leadership on Instagram. We're on LinkedIn as well if you need all of that. I'm predominantly active on Facebook and Instagram now, but Nurturing Leadership has taken a hit on social media because I've just been cutting up so much tape for Leading Our Own Way and promoting the guests. It's just been the weekly episodes, which I think is okay. I don't think I need to promote Nurturing Leadership because you guys just come back and listen if you're ready. And you know what? It's sitting there if you ever want to listen to it, and same for me. But I just enjoy talking about it. But on today's episode, we're talking about effective communication. I think we're up to episode... I think it's this one. We're on 19. I hope you enjoyed the episode of Low last week. I put Leading Our Own Way as an episode because I was having an interview, I was having a chat with my co-author of How to Lead with Purpose with Mike Nichols. And we ended up going down a different road. So I shared them across the 2 platforms. That's why you might have seen the pause on the neuroscience series. I thought it was really good to share that with you and give you an insight of what Leading Our Own Way may be about as well. But yes, effective communication. We're going to look at the neuroscience-based leadership concepts, as you know, I'm really passionate about, and how it involves understanding how the brain processes information and emotions. But today, I wanted to look at, neuroscience, based concepts do emphasize clear and clear communication, and that's why I think it was really important before we finish the series to do an episode on effective communication. Understanding how that brain processes information can, I think, definitely help leaders convey their own messages more effectively. I think what we'll do today is look at, the clarity of communication. We'll look at some strategies for crafting clear and simple messages. We'll look at understanding the role of emotions very briefly, because I know we've done an episode on that. We'll look at active listening, harnessing the power of visual aids. What might be a good one to quickly go over, just a feedback loop, and empathy and emotional intelligence, which I won't go on too much because we've done a big episode on all of those as well. But please go back if you've got any holes missing. I don't want to make it too long. People will be coming home here, and I don't like recording when people are in the house, so it makes it very, very hard. But yeah, let's have a look at the power of clarity and communication. In the realm of leadership, effective communication, I think, is definitely paramount, right? Clear and simple messages are it's just so important to have that side of things, because that guides and really engages the listeners. They cut through. Oh, my alarm's going. Hold on. That's for the cooker. Yeah, got to do the normal life stuff. They cut through the noise and the complexity of ensuring, that the intended messages reaches the target audience with which we hope maximum impact, right? So accessibility for all is important. Simple language makes communication accessible to a wider audience. It bridges gaps of understanding, in understanding, ensuring that everyone, regardless of their background or expertise can grasp the core message. In the workplace, we have a level of different people of different levels of experience. So it's really important that we can just make it very clear and concise. This inclusivity definitely fosters a sense of, I suppose, which I always ramble on, a belonging and unity within teams and organizations. Really enhancing the comprehension. Complexity often leads to confusion. So when we go into a bit of a spider web, which I'm not very good at, when leaders use just straightforward language and devoid of unnecessarily jargon, and we work in a lot of places that have a lot of jargon that we have to listen and stick to, and it just confuses the hell out of me. Listeners can easily comprehend the message. This clarity minimizes misunderstandings, promotes alignment, and encourages collaboration towards shared goals. Retention, something that we really struggle with these days because we're missing the core understanding of what focus is, but retention and recall, because the brain is wired to process just simplicity and efficiently. But when information is presented in a clear and concise manner, it becomes easy to remember and recall. You can see that in children when you give them simple messages. It's very easy. It's very simple, should I say. Leaders who communicate simply enhance their team's ability to retain crucial information, leading to obviously improved performance and that big one, decision making. Building trust, did an episode on that, but being transparent and straightforward communication builds trust among teams. So leaders, who express themselves clearly, conveys honesty and integrity, fostering a culture of openness and accountability. But we can create safe spaces. But when you create safe spaces and people are feeling safe to be honest and open, but then we crush them later, that is when, a lot of chronic stress can definitely set in. This trust, I think, forms the foundation of strong relationships and effective teamwork. Inspiring action. We've got to inspire, right? Simple messages have a compelling quality that motivates people to take action, whether it's outlining a vision, setting goals, or providing feedback, right? Or should I say, which I've said before in other episodes, rather than providing feedback, let's give advice. People are more likely are going to listen to the future opposed to messages of the past. So some strategies that we can look at for this side of crafting clear and simple messages would be know your audience, right? Understanding the backgrounds, expertise, connection, and communication preferences of your audience to tailor your message effectively. Plain language, using plain language, avoiding unnecessary technical terms or jargon that I mentioned before. Opt for simple words and phrases that resonate with everyone. And how can you say that you meet the needs of everybody? Well, just know your people. Spend time with them. Have a coffee with them, whatever. Structure your message. Organize your thoughts logically with a clear introduction, main points, and concise conclusion. Most meetings are pretty much done like that anyway. Visual aids, incorporate visual aids like diagrams, charts, infographics to supplement your message. That tends to stick. We remember visuals. It's, most people say I'm a visual learner, but I think all people respond well to visuals. Even if they don't consciously think it, the brain might probably myelinate that information a lot better. Visuals can obviously simplify complex concepts and obviously enhance the overall comprehension. Seeking feedback, encouraging open dialogue and feedback to ensure that your message is understood as intended. Steve Jobs is one. I've watched a lot of stuff on Steve Jobs, his keynote presentations. He was very renowned for his ability to convey complex technical advancements in a very simple, engaging manner during Apple keynote presentation. I'm obsessed. I'm obviously on Apple. Sorry, it's not obvious. I hate it when people do that. It's not obvious. I'm everything Apple, and I think I'm everything Apple because how simple he does it. And I've forgotten what the new guy, but I listen to all the keynotes when new technology is coming out. Maybe that's part of why I keep going back. I don't know. But his use of clear language definitely captivating visuals, and it resonated with the audience worldwide, right? So in essence, clear and simple messages are catalysts for effective leadership communication. The power of leaders to connect, inspire, and drive meaningful action within their teams and organizations. So again, understanding the role of emotions. I think emotions are powerful drivers that influence how we perceive, process, and retain information. In the context of leadership, though, and leadership communication, Appealing to emotions can profoundly impact how messages are received and acted upon. So memory enhancement, right? So emotional experiences are likely to be remembered than neutral ones. So when leaders craft messages that evoke emotions such as empathy, inspiration, or motivation, they create memorable experiences for their audience. I always, when I'm teaching, draw up on real life experience. I see the kids' eyes look at me straight away because I'm drawing on something personable. I want leaders to do the same thing. These emotionally charged memories are retained for longer periods, because if you share it, someone else will connect to it that's similar in their life. You've got the emotion within the memory. They stay in our brains for longer periods, right? Reinforcing key messages and shaping good attitudes. Decision-making influence, emotions play a crucial role in decision-making. People often make decisions based on how they feel rather than purely rational considerations. That being limbic part of the brain, all that emotional side. Leaders who tap into the emotions can influence decisions making process by creating emotional resonance with their audience, because emotional connection can sway opinions, and it can encourage action, and it can foster commitment to organizational goals. Again, building that trust and connection. Emotional connection builds trust. It gets that oxytocin. We did an episode on it that gets that oxytocin flooding through the body. You'll feel it when you're actually aware of it and you reflect on it. You'll feel it in the moment. When leaders, share personal stories, express empathy, or celebrate successes, they demonstrate authenticity and reliability. This humanizes leadership. This is what I talk about, the human side. Feel the game, feel the moment. And it cultivates a supportive environment where team members feel valued and understood. Motivation, I've done an episode on that. Motivation and engagement. Emotions are catalysts for motivation and engagement. It's that simple. Inspirational stories, positive reinforcement, and shared values evoke emotions that energize and inspire teams. So leaders who tap into their passion, creativity, and dedication among their followers, driving collective success amongst everybody. Yeah. How can you create emotional connection? Again, using personal stories, right? Appeal to values, empathy and active listening, demonstrate it, celebrate successes, creative, meaningful experiences, designing experiences that evoke positive emotions, such as team building activities, volunteer opportunities, that might get frowned upon on some things, but might work in certain organizations, or creative projects that align with organizational goals. Here's one: Nelson Mandela's leadership. His ability to inspire and unite people through his emotionally charged speeches, right? Listen to him; they're all emotionally charged, and and in his actions, of course, it's a testament to the power of emotional connection in leadership. The guy that I love, I've got none of his books here on display, but I will have soon. Simon Sinek, Start with Why. The book Start with Why. Simon Sinek's concept of starting with why, the purpose. Focus on an emotional core of purpose. That's why I started with the Purpose series before I came onto the Neuroscience series. Go back, they're only like snippets of eight episodes of 8 minutes. So, it's resonated with leaders worldwide. That's why people hire him. Apple hire him. Microsoft hire him. Emphasize the importance of emotional connection in driving action. So emotional connection is a cornerstone of effective leadership, big time. By appealing to emotions through stories, examples, and relatable content, leaders can forge deeper connections, enhancing memory retention, influence decision-making, and inspire meaningful action within their teams. Embracing emotional intelligence in communication, not as just a whole, but just in communication today we're focusing on, is not just about conveying information. It's about touching hearts and minds to drive positive outcomes. Active listening is another one, right? Active listening is another superpower in good leadership. It goes beyond merely hearing words to truly understand and emphasizing with what others are saying. When leaders practice active listening, they engage key areas of the brain associated with empathy and social cognition, paving the way of stronger connections, trust, and mutual understanding with teams. How can we, there's many things that are involved in these, the crucial elements, giving undivided attention. Little things, I've mentioned it in episodes before, those little things of not having your phone out. Upside down or not, no. Get rid of it. You're subconsciously telling somebody that is more important. Having a little flick. No, put it away. Because leaders who show the value of their team members by focusing completely on what they're saying, even if they don't agree, it means putting aside distractions and being fully present in the conversation, not just at work, any time of your life, that, right? Empathetic responses. Responding empathetically demonstrates that, you as a leader understand and care about your team's perspective and feelings, because empathy fosters a sense of trust and openness again, asking clarifying questions, clarify your understanding by asking thoughtful questions. This not only shows genuine interest, but it also ensures that everyone is on the same page and reduces misunderstandings. Those non-verbal cues, spent an episode with deep in non-verbal cues as well. Body language, such as maintaining eye contact. We've lost the art of that. Nodding, using encouraging gestures, reinforce active listening. Non-verbal cues convey attentiveness and receptiveness, and encouraging team members to express their own themselves comfortably, creating that safe space around you. So just by practice active listening, leaders and even just team members create a collaborative and inclusive environment where every voice is heard and valued. It's that simple. It fosters the trust again and strengthens the relationships, builds that bridge rather than putting a river through it, where it comes and goes, or always goes, right? Very hard for that to come back. It creates that culture of mutual respect and understanding within the team. Yeah, so visual aids. Well, I mentioned it before. Visual aids are like windows that allow information to enter the brain swiftly with greater impact. As leaders incorporating visuals such as charts, graphs, diagrams, you see it in meetings all the time, images can significantly enhance the understanding and retention of key messages amongst team members. So faster processing and comprehension. The brain processes visual information at a remarkable speed, very fast. Utilizing visual aids, leaders convey complex data for those who live in the northern in England, but data for everywhere else. Sorry, I've just got used to saying data and I get laughed at all the time now by my friends in England, but data otherwise. It conveys complex data and concepts in a way that is easily digestible. And you can take away understanding a lot clearer. This accelerates understanding and enables team members to grasp information more quickly than through text alone. Nobody wants just to look 1,000 words on a page that's been emailed to them. They just don't. Enhancing clarity and retention. Visuals add clarity to verbal communication. Having both at the same time it just provides that. It provides more of that context to it, doesn't it? When leaders use charts or graphs to illustrate trends, timelines, or comparisons, it clarifies the message and enhances that retention in the brain. The combination of visuals and verbal explanations reinforces the learning and aids in long-term memory. It myelinates it a lot more. Well, you obviously have to do it over again, but at least it'll connect the synapses connections of the pathways. Engaging and captivating audience. Visuals have a captivating effect on audiences. Capturing attention and sustaining interest through a presentation or discussion, because it's very easy to lose that. Using compelling images in infographics or animations even to create a visually stimulating experience that keeps team members engaged and focused on the message being conveyed. Because visual aids are just so powerful, aren't they? They're invaluable tools for decision making as well. Whether presenting data, projects, plans, they give a clear and structured framework for making decisions a lot easier. Just highlighting the key points. Relevance. It brings out relevance, simplicity, consistency, accessibility, and it's certainly interactive. So by leveraging the power of visual aids, leaders can definitely amplify the impact of their communication, foster better understanding, and drive meaningful engagement within their teams. Visuals don't not only complement verbal messages, but also serve as powerful tools for conveying information, sparking discussions, and driving decision-making processes. Even if you send that to your staff or your team members later, they'll remember the words purely based on the pictures. You don't even need to send it with all the words, just send it as the visuals. More often than not, they can connect to it. That feedback loop, love this one. Creating a feedback loop is essential for continuous learning and growth within team members. As leaders, providing constructive feedback and encouraging open communication channels, the key to fostering a feedback-rich environment. Constructive feedback involves offering specific, I always say it wrong, actionable insights that help team members understand areas for improvement and development. This feedback should be delivered in a supportive and respectful manner, focusing on solutions and growth rather than criticism. This is the point where I go on about advice rather than giving feedback. But obviously, a lot of structures in place in the workplace is feedback. Encouraging team members to ask questions and share their thoughts fosters a culture of openness and collaboration. It allows for diverse perspectives, ideas, and feedback to be heard, leading to innovative solutions and better decision making. A feedback-rich environment that promotes continuous learning, adaptation, and improvement. It empowers team members to actively engage in their own development. When the brain moves, it grooves. Seek clarification when needed, and it contributes to meaningful to the team's success. So prioritizing feedback as a valuable tool for learning and growth. Leaders definitely nurture a dynamic and high-performing team culture. Non-verbal, we've discussed it before, but just body language, tone of voice speaks volumes in conveying authenticity and trustworthiness. When leaders align their non-verbal signals with their spoken words, it creates a harmonious message that resonates with listeners. Imagine a leader delivering a speech about teamwork with crossed arms and a stern expression. Your defense already goes up, right? Despite the positive words, the non-verbal cues may convey a different message, potentially undermining trust in any rapport that you may have. Because on the other hand, a leader who maintains open body language, such as making eye contact, using welcoming gestures, speaking with your hands. I love speaking with my hands. I don't do it naturally, I think. And modulating their tone reflects warmth and just being sincere. Simple stuff, right? But we need to hear it to be reflective and conscious of it. It reinforces that message of collaboration and trust once again. So it's like a melody of lyrics of verbal communication, non-verbal communication, that is, making it more impactful and memorable. Leaders who are mindful of their non-verbal signals definitely create an environment where team members feel understood, valued, and inspired to stick together on a longer term basis. Repetition, myelinating, the third section of neuroplasticity, neurogenesis, development of embryonic brain cells, synapses, connections, but repetition, myelination. Myelinating it, that fatty substance that goes around the neural pathways. Repetition is definitely the key to learning and retaining any information. And leaders that can harness this power by consistently reinforcing key messages over time, it's just a catchy tune, becomes ingrained in our minds. Think about riding a bike 10 years later, you remember it. It's ingrained. You might not have touched a bike for 10 years. With repeated listening, important messages become deeply rooted in the brains of team members when they are reinforced consistently. Obviously, you can have to change every time because it might get boring. You've got to make it, put a little bit of mayo on it, right? Imagine a leader introducing a new vision for the organization during a team meeting. While the initial presentation might spark interest, it's the repetition and the reinforcement of the vision through various channels such as emails, team discussions, and progress updates that embeds into the collective consciousness. Repetition helps solidify, information by strengthening neural connections in the brain. When leaders consistently revisit and empathize. I've lost it. key messages. They increase the likelihood of team members internalizing and acting upon them. This approach also reinforces the importance of relevance of the message, signifying to the team that it's not just passing of an idea, but a fundamental aspect of their work and goals. So anyone out there, by incorporating this repetition approach and reinforcement into their communication strategy, leaders ensure that important messages are not only remembered, but also translated into action, driving progress and alignment with the organization. Empathy and emotional intelligence, one of the big ones for me is empathy. Watch going because I need to turn the cooker up. I'm almost done anyway. I don't want it to be too long for you guys. I want it to be sharp and snappy for you. I just think this is so fundamental, though. It empowers leaders to connect with their teams on a deeper level, get to know the people, understand people's stories, put yourself in their shoes. You might never have been in their shoes, but one day you might. Or you might have done it 20 times over, so you can definitely have more empathy. Imagine a leader who empathizes with the challenges and feelings of their team members, understanding how emotions influence perception and decision making. This leader can definitely respond with compassion and insight, fostering trust and collaboration. Emotional intelligence encompasses self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and social skills. People who are in charge, who develop their emotional intelligence, can definitely navigate complex interpersonal dynamics with ease, effectively managing conflicts and inspiring teams. Been over that. I don't want to go too deep into that because I've done episodes on it. But empathy in particular allows leaders to put themselves in other shoes, recognize their perspectives, and respond with empathy and understanding. This definitely creates a supportive and inclusive environment where team members feel valued, heard, and motivated to contribute their best efforts. They'll work extra hours if that's really, really what you want. Rather than looking at your watch when people are trying to leave and looking at the clock, put trust in your team. They will come through for you. If you show empathy, give moments, they will work harder and longer. If that's really, really what you're looking for, without them burning out as well, because their choice. Don't turn around to me and say, well, that's what they get paid for. Well, inspire the people that you work with. Simple, right? But you can't be too over empathetic. You've got to show compassion. Otherwise, if you don't finish that loop, you're going to get burnt out yourself as a leader. It's really important as a leader that you can show compassion. Physically putting yourself in a position to help these people will close that loop for you, and it will ease the heart, and you will feel better for yourself. And looking after the self first will help you do this better as well. Because this doesn't only enhance team performance, but it also strengthens relationships. And relationships are the most important. Connection and relation between anybody. Don't tell me you don't go to it to make friends. Why not? Why on earth not? You spend third of your day, because the other third you're asleep. Right? Yeah. Just promotes positive work environments. Anyway, by closing it down though, but by aligning communication strategies with the brain's cognitive and emotional processes, neuroscience-based leaders can enhance their ability to convey messages, foster trust, and inspire action with your teams. That's it. If you're wondering why I'm wearing an orange one today, it's Harmony Day here in Australia. So that's why I was wearing orange. I was wearing my orange Nikes to work today too. But I hoped that helped. Next week is the last episode of the neuroscience series before I have 3 or 4 weeks off nurturing leadership, so I can focus on leading our own way. But we will be back with the victim series. Boom. But next week it's self-awareness, mindfulness practices that we'll discuss. I'll keep it short for you, but please keep coming back. I really appreciate your time of taking in some of these learnings. I hope it is beneficial. If it's not, comment, because if there's anything else different that I can do, always wanting to learn, always wanting to better myself. But focus on yourself. As a leader, focus on yourself first, whether you get a routine in the morning, walk with the sunlight, walk your dog, jump in cold water. That's what I do. Lift a couple of weights. Take time and spend some loved ones in the morning before you leave. It'll better the day. Anyway, have a great day. I'm going to turn off now because I can hear people. Have a great day, and we will speak next week. Tune in for the last one of neuroscience-based leadership concepts, the neuroscience series. Take care, everyone. Have a great day if you're listening in the morning. Speak soon. Thank you for tuning into our Nurturing Leadership podcast, where we delve into the art of compassionate guidance and fostering growth. Your continued support is invaluable to us,
So please subscribe and follow us on all your favourite platforms. We are currently on Spotify, Apple and YouTube. Remember, great leadership starts with nurturing. Nurturing leadership creates lasting impact. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes filled with insightful discussions. We appreciate you joining on this journey. Thank you for listening.